Just to kick us off then, Sir Bobby, what are your first memories of Old Trafford?
Well, I played for East Northumberland schoolboys at Main Road against Manchester Boys in 1953, and I'd already said that I wanted to play for Man United because Joe Armstrong, the chief scout, had asked me in January if I would like to play for Manchester United, but I couldn't say yes quick enough. I wanted to travel. I wanted to get on into the big adventure of football, and Joe taught me into it, and I arrived at the Exchange Station, and Jimmy Murphy picked me up, and he said. He says, "You're going to love playing at Old Trafford, Bobby. We've got some fantastic players, you know." And I'm looking around and I'm saying, "Well, where's Old Trafford, Mr. Murphy?" You know, and he says it's in Trafford Park, and I went, "Whew, you know, thank goodness for that, you know, some trees and a bit of some open spaces." But when I actually saw it for the first time was when Tommy Taylor played his first match for Man United after he'd signed from Barnsley. In the morning, I played for the East Northumberland boys against Manchester boys, and we played the match, and then we had lunch. We had lunch at a hotel in Sale, and on the way back to the station to get my train, you could have a look through it. And I remember looking through it, and all the crowd were in, and you could hear all the sounds, etc. But all you could see was the East Stand, and that was the first time I ever saw it. And I thought, well, when I leave school in the summer, I'm going to see a lot more of this, you know. So, and that's what happened.
Sir Bobby Charlton became one of the greatest footballers the world has ever seen. But Bobby was much more than that. He was an ambassador for Manchester United, for England, and for the beautiful game itself. It's 7 years ago now that the Association of Former Manchester United Players staged a special evening to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Bobby's Manchester United debut. I was there with Bobby's family, friends, and a few hundred fans who were lucky enough to get tickets. Just having the privilege of being in the same room as the great man was quite simply an honour. Sir Alex Ferguson made a special presentation that night.
It'd be remiss of me if I didn't say a few words. My first experience of Bobby, Hampden Park, 1958, was not a good one. He was offside. It wasn't easy to watch Bobby playing against Scotland these days. But having the opportunity to come to Manchester United, I have to say on a personal note that with the confidence he gave me and the conviction that I was doing the right things, I owe my life really at Manchester United, I must say that. No one understood more at that time. He wanted to replicate what happened in the Busby era of the youth coming through, 5 youth cups in a row, unbelievable. And the thing that is Manchester United, without doubt, is to give young people an opportunity. And Bobby Charlton absolutely believed in that. And that's what I tried to do. And it was amazing with the results we got at that. And people will recognise Manchester United in many ways about who the best players were, but believe me, the young players have always been the spirit of Manchester United. And Bobby Charlton believed in me, and you, apart from the greatest legend of this club, believe me, and as the greatest player, it's been a wonderful pleasure to know you. And furthermore, I'm going to try and lift this thing and give you this award from the... Oh, Christ almighty. Sorry, excuse the language. But on behalf of the Manchester United Old Boys Association, Bobby, this is...
Bobby was a gentleman who graced the football pitch with majestic splendour and a cannonball shot that earned him a legendary reputation without parallel. Bobby was our Ballon d'Or winning 1966 World Cup hero, the last remaining Busby babe to survive the Munich air disaster 65 years ago. A decade later, Bobby scored twice in our iconic 1968 European Cup triumph at Wembley. As a boy, I was lucky enough to watch Law, Best and Charlton from the Stretford end, our famous United Trinity worshipped by our global fan base. Every single fan who makes the pilgrimage to Old Trafford marvels at the Trinity statue. No visit is complete without paying your respects to this unique trio of footballing gods. Sir Bobby is further immortalised by the naming of the South Stand in his memory. And the last time I met Sir Bobby was in that old stand named after him. We chatted post-match in the Directors' Lounge after a Europa League game 4 years ago. I was there with members of the Dennis Law Legacy Trust. It was an occasion I will never forget because Bobby was having a good day. In fact, he kept us talking until it was time to lock up and he was finally dragged away by Lady Norma. Bobby was always very kind to me and I was chuffed that he remembered the big interview I'd filmed with him a few years earlier in the private room just behind where we were standing.
You eventually made your first team debut in October 1956 and scored twice in the match against Charlton, of all teams. What are your memories of that day?
Well, I'd been playing in the reserves and scoring a lot of goals, and because it was the Busby Babes' introduction to the world of football at that particular time, to play for Man United's first team was unbelievable. I couldn't wait. I had a great affiliation with the club straight away. Jimmy Murphy was indoctrinated me in a way, you know, initially, and made you think that this was the greatest youth team that had ever been. They'd win everything in sight, which they did in the first 5 years, and it was just the start of a fantastic adventure. I remember coming down to the ground once in the summer to get my wages. £20 you used to get, with the tax off, you used to get about £17.50 as it was now. And I used to come down and to get my wages. And I came down one day when we were, and it was empty. There was no game on, you know. And the bus came up and about 20 people got out of this bus. And they said, hey, yeah, Bobby Charlton. And I said, what are you doing here? You know, there's no game on. And they said we couldn't stay awake anymore. We had to come down and see how the floodlights were going on because they were erecting these new floodlights, you know. Yeah, crazy.